From the Allen Media Worldwide Headquarters Studios, recorded in front of a live studio audience, high atop 2 Turtle Creek Tower, this is Deconstructing Dallas. Greetings and salutations, everyone. This is Ryan Trimble, joined today by the great Sean Williams with an angelic voice. We know you've been out in the world practicing your singing voice recently, and we're just glad to have you on the show, Sean.
I am glad to co-host this show with you, Ryan Trimble. Last night, we had choir rehearsal at Friendship West Baptist Church, and the youth choir has invited the parents to be part of the choir on the 4th Sunday, so anyone who wants to attend, you're welcome. But it was fun participating in choir rehearsal, me and my son Isaiah. It's nice.
I'm proud of you. That's good father-son time.
I am proud also of our first studio audience show. It's really great.
It's really exciting stuff.
Yeah.
It's really exciting. Studio audience, why don't you give us a hand?
Man, there's one set of hands, but it's okay. You got to start somewhere. I mean, Erin Ragsdale is our guest today as our audience member because we have commandeered her office to record the show.
That is correct.
You guys are welcome anytime.
Okay. She has.
Thank you, Erin, and don't let us bother your working.
Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing over there. This was a good week for us. Actually, last week we recorded this interview, and it was with U.S. House of Representatives member Pete Sessions.
That's right. We had the chance to visit with Congressman Sessions, and big thanks to his great staff, Matt Garcia, Carolyn Booth, and all the team up there for helping set this thing up. It was interesting. We haven't really talked a lot about what's going on in Washington, D.C. and how that affects us here back in Dallas and in Texas. So it was good to get a view into that and get a taste of what's going on in our nation's capital, Sean.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing that interview with our studio audience. Also, would love to share more about our client work, which has kind of become part of our show, but I don't think we'll really be able to do that this week.
That's right. We've been working nonstop over the past couple weeks or so, all with non-disclosure agreements. So just know we are working hard, but hey, we can't tell you anything about it.
And if we're, still doing this show, 6-12 months down the road, maybe we can talk about our work.
That's
that
right.
We're working on.
That's right. Well, big show today again, and thank you to Congressman Sessions for coming on. We're going to get to that, get to our interview right after the break. So thanks for stopping by, Deconstructing Dallas. We'll see you after this. Hey everyone, it's your pal Ryan. Let's talk about some names from the recent NFL draft. Wide receiver Cortland Sutton, drafted 40th overall by the Denver Broncos. Defensive end Justin Lawler, drafted by the LA Rams. Receiver Trey Quinn, drafted by the Washington Redskins. You know what these NFL talents have in common? You guessed it, they're all former SMU Mustangs. And right now, you too can harness the opportunity to see some up-and-coming NFL talent like these guys by purchasing your 2018 SMU Football season tickets. For just $99, you can see some great action at Ford Stadium this fall with games against TCU, Navy, and the dreaded University of Houston Cougars. So join the herd. Go to SMUMustangs.com or call 214-SMU-GAME and ask for your very own $99 season tickets today. Again, that's SMUMustangs.com or 214-SMU-GAME. We'll see you at the stadium. Pony up. Deconstructing Dallas, Ryan Trimble, Sean Williams, and Sean, I am so excited today. We have a great guest joining us, a gentleman that has been really good to me. I'm honored to be sitting here with him. It's been great to me throughout my career with Chairman Branch, and then has been super helpful to me during my time working with some of our great clients. He is Congressman Pete Sessions, Chairman of the Rules Committee. Congressman, how are you today?
It's a beautiful day. Let's face it. A little bit of rain goes a long way.
You're darn right. My lawn's going to really appreciate it.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Chairman, we wanted to get your kind of 30,000-foot view of what's going on in the Capitol and what it means for us here back in Dallas.
There, Ryan, as you know, there's a lot of controversy, as if we have not figured that out, about not only what we're doing in Washington, but also what we're not doing. And the Republican majority, of which I'm a part of, has struggled. We have struggled in order to pass pieces of legislation to become law. And the biggest impediment that we have is called the United States Senate. The United States Senate has a arcane rule that requires there to be cloture in order to accomplish moving pieces of legislation. That requires 59, actually 60 senators to agree that they want to do that. And Republicans, I believe, only have 52 members. So there's over 400 pieces of legislation that have passed the House that have not gone to the Senate. Now, there's at least one in particular that did pass that has provided the country with an amazing viewpoint of how well you can see two pieces of legislation making a huge difference in our country. Number one, when we passed a law several years ago, President Obama, to raise taxes, the highest tax spending bill we'd ever had, the largest amount of dollar, not the largest percent, and it slowed GDP to 1.2% for 8 years. Republicans, those darn pesky Republicans, decided that we could no longer handle all the companies moving overseas, all of the problems with American competition, and the struggle, not only in people making a go of it, but actually being able to provide benefits and long-term benefits for employees. So these darn Republicans lowered the tax code. It has stimulated our economy. We have the largest amount of African Americans ever working, the largest amount of Hispanics ever working, largest amount of women in the marketplace with jobs. We're really seeing economic growth take hold. Of course, here in Dallas, Texas, if you destruct Dallas, Texas, you can see we have some 20,000 jobs right now for $16 an hour, full benefits in the construction industry alone. We have signs up all over the place. They need employees, and we're moving the economy here in North Texas. So it is the greatest piece of legislation for encouraging economic growth and development all across the country, and we're taking advantage of it, and it's really helping America. We are better today because of the struggle. The struggle, look, it was a political battle between two types of people that want to see the free enterprise system work and those that want to see government work. And in this case, free enterprise system guys won.
You talked about and talking to Ryan just then, and that question about Texas, about the economy, where we are as a country, but we got a great economy in Texas. You sit in a space here where you can really see a lot of it, even just from your office here. So what is it about Texas? What's happened during your time that you've seen as to why Texas has fared so well in the economy right now?
The Texas economy over the last, we'll say 10 years, has produced more jobs in Texas, net new jobs each year, than the other 49 states did themselves. That tells you that something is different. There's something that's happening in Texas when you're creating more jobs than all 49 others. One is called a stable work environment, a stable political environment, an environment that is aimed with an eye towards not only economics, but for business, small business growth. It's a state that has great schools. It's a state that has great quality education at the secondary level and well into the postgraduate level. It is a stability where we are a right-to-work state. The free enterprise system can go and set its standards and meet its mark. It has the attributes of great highways and an infrastructure. It has dynamic cities of Houston, Dallas, San Antonio. Some say Austin. They like to keep it weird down there. That grows. You know that grows too.
I know it well.
So let's not act like some bit of Texas does not have diversity. But the underpinning is no state income tax, and we don't tax death tax. And that sets Texas apart, where people not only want to come and make this their home, but they want to live here after they've retired too. Other states, I don't need to tell you, have high levels of taxation, starting for the regular employee once they make $40,000. Well, we don't believe in that here in Texas. They have a problem with the death tax in California and these other states, that they'll pay 8 to 12% of an asset that you'd save money and pay taxes on, and the state wants its own. So a lot of things are conducive to that, and I think the other part is we have such pride here in Texas. We have pride of each other. We look at each other differently. We want to see each other be successful, and actually people want to be a part of what we're doing. I wish I could say I'm always for the Houston Texans. I'm always for the Dallas Cowboys. But we want to see the Rangers win, and we want to see the Astros win. So there's a lot that we have in common here.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the word stability, and I know that in light of the Speaker making his recent announcement that he's not going to be returning, that may create, I don't want to use the word instability, but that may create some new opportunities and some new changes in leadership. So I wanted to know if you could give us a little insight as to what that might mean for the Texas delegation.
Yeah, Paul Ryan is a good man. Paul Ryan is seen as a straight shooter. Paul Ryan is seen in lots of what I think are favorable, disciplined ways. Paul probably has talents that he's not getting a chance to utilize. I think he longs to be set free from being the Speaker. I think it's an institution in and of itself, and a responsibility. I think Paul, by making his announcement, which was very interesting as opposed to waiting till the end of the term, he really tells you how straightforward he is. He wants his district that's back home, that he thinks of himself mostly as being a congressman. Mm-hmm. He's given them a chance. I tend to look at it a little differently. I think he has a huge responsibility as Speaker. I think it has created some bit of an uncertainty, meaning that he's become.
You don't want to say lame duck, I'm sure.
Well, I don't. All right, then I will. I was going to say he's put himself in a position where who's making decisions is unclear. But if you want to call it lame duck, all right, we'll call it lame duck. But he's put himself in a position where if he chooses to make a decision or does not choose to make a decision, it's not always known and understood. So stability is a key to most things successful. So what would this mean? The Texas delegation, this would mean that Texas is the largest single block within the conference, Republican conference. Texas also suffers, as we have for a long period of time since Jim Wright was there. We've not been able to produce a Republican in that role, and I think we could this next time.
That'd be great.
This is Deconstructing Dallas. We have U.S. Representative Pete Sessions here with us. Congressman, I know a lot of focus obviously is on the midterms, and I know your party, as you mentioned, passed the tax bill, which I know you all definitely proud of. But what do you see as the other issues that are going to be important to the country coming up, whether it be before the midterms, after the midterms, like where do you see things heading?
Without a doubt, this issue of the economy and taxes and job growth and the availability of a better economy and people who are able to get a job is important. But as you suggest, it's not the only part of what we will see in this election. I think the election is going to find itself off a series of directions the country is going to go. I think that the country, as we've seen, The Democratic Party has found themselves losing the House, the Senate, and the presidency. I think that what they fought on in the special elections last year, 2017,